Hello, sports fans, and welcome back to the final segment of this season of Inside Titan Sports. It's been a great ride, and I tell you what, we're going to keep it going with Michael Parsons coming in later in the show as he sets up a couple softball interviews, and then Bobby Cashman talks some tennis. But first, let's tee things up with our very own head coach of men's and women's golf. He is head coach Jamie Howell. Coach, welcome back to the show.
Always a pleasure to be here.
I tell you what, always enjoy your time, and always like having you on for Inside Titan Sports.
Well, hopefully we get to keep doing this a few more years.
I like that. So you've been a stalwart of the athletic program. You've been here many years and done a great job. And again, this season is no different. You guys are chasing some postseason play. Let's talk about the women's side. I know you've had some challenges, injuries, illnesses, you name it. You've had some challenges. How have you overcome that this season?
Yeah, we keep going forward. We've had three that have been pretty healthy all along, and we're getting a fourth player back this week, Caitlin McCallum. So we'll be able to field a team up at the state tournament this coming Friday and Saturday.
Well, that's great news. At first, that was questionable whether you're going to be able to play now. Set that event up for this weekend.
Three teams, Daytona State, Seminole State, and Eastern Florida State College. Seminole State, Daytona State are 1-2 year in and year out. You know, we're obviously looking to get better, and the only way I know to get better is to compete. Whether we would have 3 or 4 playing, we were going to go play because I need the freshmen to get a taste of what's going on. So it's competitive. The top 2 teams move on. My only goal is we go up there and we field a team, and we have a team score, and we look to get a little bit better than we have all year. Now, in all the years you've coached, have you ever come across the multitude of injuries and illnesses, especially on the women's side? No, not multiple injuries. I've had the occasional guy get dinged up. I've had a bad back here or there, a case of food poisoning once in a while, but I never had it where I had, more than one person out at a time. So that it's been a challenge, that's the understatement of the spring. Well, it's good that you saw that you got some competition at the Panther Invitational. So you got some reps in there. They played pretty decent. What are your thoughts about that? We had the best we played all year. I would like to have that top 4 score there because at the beginning of the year, our goal was we set some lines in the sand with regard to scoring. And it would have been curious to see what the 4th person might have shot down at Durand last week because we were on the verge of breaking 320, which was, that's a benchmark for us right there. If we can get it under 320, that shows them we can keep competing. What about Dania Owens? She's played well this season. Talk about that. I wish I could have 3 more just like her. Dana's been just absolutely super. Played really well rounds 2 and 3 down at Florida Tech's event. She's a breath of fresh air for us. She shows up every day willing to work. Whether she plays bad, whether she plays good, you never know it. She's always happy to be there. Talk about the freshmen, the future of women's golf here for next season. Some that's coming back, and we had a chance to recruit any girls coming in next season. Been recruiting hard. I got a young lady coming down from Canada, Casey Walker. Looks to be a very good player for us. She spent some time here this past year, working on a couple local gals. Got one coming in by the name of Trinity Falzones, graduating from Vieira this May. Another young lady we hope to have come over from the Cocoa Beach area. And then after that, I look to have the same number, about 7 next year. The recruiting trail's been constant. You talk to Coach Cashman, I'm sure he's doing the same thing I am, beating the bushes trying to find more players. What is your message on the women's side for some of the sophomores that are playing their last season right here for the Titans as they go out and move on to their next part of their career? With the sophomore class, it's a little selfish, but I wish I had them for the freshman year too. Right. We could have done that much more. And at the same time, my whole goal has been preparing them for what's coming next year because the level of competition is only going to go up. Right. The pace that it takes place at only goes faster. And now the school becomes more pointed. Their degree is now going to be what they're after. It's no longer general ed classes. It'll be, okay, you're majoring in whatever the discipline is. It's going to be more defined. So everything I've done is just try to prepare them for that. Well, the biggest thing, too, is, now you have the hat of both the men's and women's golf coach. Have you kind of settled in now with that role of juggling both teams? I don't know if I'd be the person to ask that. Probably I have to ask the folks around me. I mean, I'd like to think I keep it as routine as possible. Right. I've leaned on our assistant coaches as much as I can. This morning, we come down and do the TV show with you and would miss us for the world. At the same time, I'm on the phone with my men's assistant coach the whole time to get them started at Suntree for a practice round today, and then the ladies are preparing for a state tournament. So as soon as we leave here, I'm hitting the road and hopefully not getting any tickets on the way back to the academy. I like your style. Now let's segue to the men's side. Exciting season. Set it up for postseason play for the men's team. This Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, the district championship at Durand. We're going to play 54 holes on the Monday and Tuesday. We have 12 teams that'll be playing. 50% of the field moves on. So I would like to think, we're going to be competitive. We're not showing up to be one of the top 6 moving on. Right. We're playing at home. We're sleeping in our own bed. We played a district preview there back in October. I think our guys won by 33. Wow. So the fall was really a special time for them. We're missing one of the players we had in the fall. Matthew Eschlard's no longer with us, right. and yet Greg Darnell of Melbourne has stepped up in a big way this spring. So I look for us to be every bit as competitive, and when we get done on Tuesday, curious to see how it plays out.
You know, that's been your message. We've been on the phone when you've been on the show before, I should say, is that the biggest thing is next man up. And you've had a couple players that have stepped up in that role when you lost that departure.
Yeah, Greg has been the biggest one. You know, when we got to January and we needed somebody to step up, the first tournament, our Titan Winter Invitational, I think he was low qualifier by 10 shots, and he'd never been low qualifier before. Played really well in the event, 2 good rounds, rounds 1 and 2. Third round was a little bit of a learning experience for him, fell back a little bit, but probably the best thing that could have happened, letting him know it's not going to be easy.
Now, as you set up for postseason play, how are they practicing? Does anything change as you set up as you're moving toward the national tournament?
It's a fragile time with school. You know, we've got 1 more week of school after this week, and then the final week of exams. I back off a bunch right now. We're doing our normal preparation for a tournament, and at the same time, if we've done our work all year, we're not going to reinvent the wheel right now. Basically, it's being in a routine, working on the areas that you know need attention, and being rested up when it comes time to play Monday and Tuesday. I think the worst thing I can do is overwork them right now. Once we finish the district tournament, I'll back off a lot. I won't touch them during final exam week. And we have a week after that to prepare for nationals. And same thing, we'll actually do a little traveling before then.
Right.
We'll try to put together some scores, you know, to give us a competitive edge. And it's just prepare as we get ready to go to Texas.
Now, golf's a little bit different of an animal. Obviously, it's individual but team at the same token. What are some of the expectations, like you say, you're laying off with final exams, of what some of those kids need to do? The short game in the meanwhile, while they're getting through, if they don't have team play?
Absolutely short game, but a little bit more attitude.
Okay.
You know, I want them walking around like they own the place, and at the same time want them to be humble enough to know they don't.
Okay.
But it's a matter of, I want them to expect to be competing. I want them to expect to be there. I want them to feel like, you know, all the lights are on them for a reason, and at the same time they can handle that if we've been working on this all year long. I don't want to get there and have them basically look in the headlights like a deer. It's like, no, I belong here.
Speaking of belonging here, the national tournament belongs here. Great news, 2019. Yeah. The national tournament, it is coming to nearby Durand. That's great news.
Yeah, we hosted it 2 years ago there, and incredibly happy to have it come back. Appreciate Durand getting on board with us. You know, the college being a part of this, that we can host a national tournament here. That's huge for us. Again, get to sleep in your own bed.
Right.
For as much as the organizational part will fall in our lap, I'm happy to have that. I'm happy to have all these teams come to Florida and learn about golf in Brevard County and basically have them experience what Durand's all about too.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing too, it's great for the brand to get people around here and talk about Eastern Florida. How was the planning process for that to land the 2019 in terms of bidding?
I believe we started the bidding process about a year ago, and the bids had to be in by September, but I know I spoke to Coach Carr about this last year. Could we do this again? And he was all for it. So from the administrative side, Coach Carr and his staff take care of dotting the I's and crossing the T's on a bidding process. And I think it was in our favor that we hosted 2 years back, and the National Junior College Athletic Association appreciated that and gave us another shot at it.
Well, I think that's great. 2019, we'll host the national championship. I think that's great news for the program across the board. Coach, listen, appreciate your time, all you do for the program. You have been one of the coaches that really have created the foundation for Eastern Florida Titans athletics, and we thank you for all you do.
I appreciate the opportunity to do it. Thanks.
I'll tell you what, good luck in the postseason. We're going to take a short break, come back with Inside Titan Sports. Bobby Cashman, he's coming up next.
Create the career of your dreams with a degree from Eastern Florida State College. Earn a bachelor's degree, associate's degree, or college certificate in growing job fields like healthcare, business, and computer technology. On campus or online, you can find inspiration and success. Anything's possible where Titans rise. Eastern Florida State College.
Hey fans, welcome back to Inside Titan Sports. Please welcome back to the show in his first season with us, the men's and women's tennis coach. He is Bobby Cashman. Coach, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here, Eric. Good to see you.
I'll tell you what, you a postseason run. I mean, the first season with the Titans,
right.
Both teams are going to the national tournament.
Right.
Kudos to you on that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We're working hard, and recruiting went well, and kind of the women did a good job in the very end. They did a great job. So.
Well, speaking of which, Altamont Springs.
Sure.
You finished runner-up, and that got you, that punched a ticket for the women's
sure.
side. Talk about that event.
I thought when we started, the first day was 2 singles and 1 doubles, and they reversed it the next day, and they did 1 singles and 2 doubles. I didn't think the singles was so good. We had a couple players get upset that did well all year at the higher positions, but the lower positions stepped up, and Yulana Monroy, she had a great tournament. I mean, she kind of made up for it because she won her flight, and it's a pointed system, as you know, and in the main draw you get a point, and in the back draw for a win you get a half a point. So she did her job, and then we rebounded nicely in doubles in the afternoon, though. I'll say the doubles was really solid, and we got it together pretty quick. I got on them about competing, and this is the end of the road. If you don't want to go to Texas, then we just lay down, or we can kind of come together and work towards this. So they responded well, and it went well in the afternoon and the next day. So
what about Juliana? She racked up some accolades
yes,
recently.
Yes, she did. Juliana's very mature. She comes to work every day, and I think most good players do that. And
right.
she's very centered. I mean, she does well in school as well. Most of the people who are detailed like she is and she cares about everything, and she wants to do everything very well. And her goal is obviously to play Division I, which she can. So that's her goal. But with the credit hours that she brought in from ASA, she's a little behind. So she's doing both really well. And her ultimate goal is to go on to that next level, which she will. She was like 65 or 60 in the world in
wow.
the juniors in the ITFs, and her father was a very good player. So she's put her best foot forward for our school. And a lot of people were impressed how well she played, because she didn't do that well last year at 1. She did okay. She was a little inconsistent, but this year she's really blossomed. And I mean, she went into that tournament going 8-2 at number 1 is very difficult. And the only girl she lost to, she beat her twice in a row, who's from Hillsborough, who's now 2 in the country. So she's really set the mark for us, and as a leadership role. When you see the one doing so well, it kind of takes pressure off the rest of the lineup.
I'll tell you what, Region 8 Player of the Year, and Nate makes the All-State team. Well, like you said, as I can see as a coach, you kind of lighten up the fact to be around a young lady like this has really blossomed, as you say, per se,
right.
to be part of that.
It's fun. I mean, she got upset. This is funny. Her journey's been a little different. She got upset and was seated in the first round of our ITA event.
Okay.
And we talked about what she needed to do to be better, and she was so receptive. And I said, you got to play to win. And that's the first thing. You're playing afraid. And there's a difference playing to win and not to lose. And I said, if you really want to reach the next pinnacle and the next steps, let's play to win every time you walk out on the court, even in practice. And she committed to that. And I said, in the weight room and the agilities. And when someone buys into that, it's really application after that.
Right.
Really. I mean, a coach can talk about it, say things, but if they don't buy in, it's not going to work. But she bought in, and she just followed, and she did extra work too. I mean, let's face it, she didn't win this championship. She did a lot of work in the fall.
That's pretty good. Talk about, on the women's side, some other players
yes.
that really have shown through.
Well,
for you.
I mean, we had one girl come in January, thank God, to help us fill the roster, Emma Othman. She's been a great kid, and she's feisty.
I like that.
She works hard, and they almost beat the team that won Flight 3, and they've grown so much with Jamie Duque, who's been here often, and
yeah.
Jamie and her have improved so much. Jamie especially. Jamie played great this weekend. I mean, she didn't win every match, but she was in the dogfight, and they didn't quit, and we were very resilient. A lot of coaches were very congratulatory towards the team, and saying, hey, tell your players they did an unbelievable job. I mean, because they competed, but they're a tight group. It's funny, they were only 6,
right? But
they know they're going to play every day, and when that happens, they played nicked up a little bit. They weren't 100%. This is a long season. We got lucky, not twisting an ankle or shoulder or whatever, so they played every match. So, I mean, I think that brought the group together, but obviously, you don't want to do that because you kind of,
right.
It's kind of not the route you want to take.
Right.
But they survived, and Lady Luck was on our side a little bit.
Well, I'm excited for the national tournament. That's in Texas.
Yes.
Now, they go first. Now, we're going to talk men's, too, but
right.
There's going to be some logistics in terms of the men's
sure.
and the women's from Waco and Plano, Texas.
Yes. So I'm making plans as we speak with Ryan, but I'm going to go out May 4th.
Okay.
The tournament starts at 6, but I'm going to get them settled and organized. And there's a day of practice, and this coaches' meeting's on the 5th. And then when I come back the 12th, I have to leave the next day, the 13th, because the other championship starts on the 14th. So, and we're going to work out the logistics. Is Caleb might stay there. One of us has to fly back with the girls on the plane. Right. So we're still kind of pending, but it looks like we might both do it. And then Coach Stokes is going to join us, who's been helping me from UCF. He's been my assistant. He's going to join the men. He's been working with me. He's going to train the men's team while me and Caleb are in Waco, and then he's going to hop on the plane with us. And he's been helping just once or twice a week for the whole year, which has been nice. And he lives right behind UCF, so it's been great to have him, his input and his insight, because he's been a head coach for so long too at FAU, and UT Pan American. So it's good to have him help out this semester. It's taken a load off me.
Well, I mean, it's a lot when you're coaching both teams.
Yes, yes.
Now let's talk about the men's team.
Yes.
What do you think about their progress, and now they're making the push for the national tournament?
You know, I think the men have really, they've really surprised me. They've done a great job. Like, I really set the schedule very difficult in the beginning with a lot of top 10 teams, Division II.
Right.
And they responded well, and they got whacked a little bit around. They got punched in the face, and they responded. And I'm like, look, this guys, if you're gonna compete at the junior college national level, top 5, top 6, these are the teams you're gonna look. They're gonna look a lot like these teams we're facing. So they've grown up. But a couple guys have grown up and turned some matches around, and we added a good Mexican player who's very good in doubles and has helped us a lot down below, Fabricio Galvan. And the top 2 have done well, Adriel and Niels. And then Andreas Weiss, the tall boy from Denmark, he's turned the corner this year. I mean, he really has had some wins. He's beaten some good players. He won at 3 against Seminole. They're 6th in the country. So I think with us, my goal personally was to get them competitive and back in the top 8. And I never really shared that with them. And I wanted the girls to be in the top 5. And I think we'll do that with a lot of hard work.
So you got the national tournaments for both teams in your
Right.
first season.
Right.
In the heart of Texas.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, what do you think? I mean, coaches don't like to answer this sometimes, but I
Sure.
mean, you got to make up the women's team, the men's team. Mm-hmm. They've faced some adversity. They're
Sure.
getting it done.
Sure.
What are your chances for both teams?
As far as doing
Bringing home some hardware.
a top 3, top 4, you mean?
Yes,
Or-
sir.
I think the women are slightly favored in that department because they're
Okay.
a little older. There's 4 sophomores, and we have a very young team with the men. There's only 2. But I'll tell you this, we'll be ready from a physical standpoint, and I think that's the key. It's so warm in Texas. I played there, when I was younger and coached there, and I think we'll be ready. The biggest thing for us is now to focus on finishing strong in school, taking care of our bodies, nutrition-wise, getting enough sleep. And the social, like I told them this morning, the socials, why we practice from 7 to 9. They do it for a reason, because I want to make them tougher and get in the routine. But I told them the social has to be on the back end, because this is the most important. You're going to transition probably to a new school,
Right.
and you want to finish strong with grades. You don't have to be worried about in the national tournament if you pass the class. So, I mean, all those things matter. We're going to do some a little bit different workouts, too. We're going to do longer, because in the national tournament, it changes the format. 2 out of 3 sets in doubles, which we played this weekend. So that's a lot of stress. A lot of people are cramping this weekend. We didn't. We took care of our bodies. We hydrated. We did all the right things, but we got to continue to do that. And that will be the factor. I think the factor that we made it is we were in better shape than the other teams. In the end, we had our legs underneath us. So there's no rhyme or reason. It was just that we worked a little bit harder.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach. We're lucky to have you. Good luck in the
Thanks,
national
Eric.
championship, men's and women's side.
Yeah, awesome.
That's Bobby Cashman. We'll take a short break. Come back and talk with Michael Parsons. This is Continued Action on Inside Titan Sports.
Create the career of your dreams with a degree from Eastern Florida State College. Earn a bachelor's degree, associate's degree, or college certificate in growing job fields like healthcare, business, and computer technology. On campus or online, you can find inspiration and success. Anything's possible where Titans rise. Eastern Florida State College.
Hey fans, welcome back to Inside Titan Sports. Always great to catch up with our very own Michael Parsons, the manager of athletic communications. Mike, welcome back to Inside Titan Sports.
Thanks for having me.
Softball has had a great run. Jim Beatty was on the show last week. They're making a little push toward the postseason. Talk about the great run for postseason for softball.
Yeah, definitely. Coach was on last week and talked about needing a win in order to get to the state tournament, and they won both sides, so they got those wins, and they're heading back to the state tournament. And a big reason why they're heading back there is the pitching. And both Olivia Everett and Jordan Lawless have had great seasons, and we talked to both of them this week. Well, I'm out here at Titan Softball Complex, and I'm with starting pitcher Olivia Everett. How are you today, Olivia?
Doing good. Ready for practice.
Definitely getting ready for a nice day for practice today. What do you guys work on now that you have a couple weeks before the state tournament?
Mainly just controlling our pitches, lightly throwing every day so we don't wear our arms out.
So talk about your season a little bit. You had a really good season for your first season with the Titans. Talk about it.
Well, I came in and I was expecting to basically just do my job, and I'm really happy with how I pitched this season. And the next season, I expect to pitch a lot better.
So talk about when you're on the mound. What do you like to throw? Is there a pitch that you're always looking?
My favorite pitch to throw is a curveball out. I do throw a backdoor curve, which I do that if I'm ahead in the count. But mainly my defense knows what I'm throwing, so they usually set up to whatever side of the plate I'm throwing on.
How has the experience been in your first season? I mean, is it kind of what you thought it was going to be when you came to Eastern Florida?
Well, I knew that the whole team was basically new, and I knew that I had to work for my position. And so far, I just love being here. My teammates are great.
Now, talk about the state tournament. You guys qualified last weekend to actually go to the state tournament now in May 3 through 6. Talk about the state tournament. What do you expect at the state tournament?
I expect us to play our best. I'm really excited, and I know my teammates are, and we're going to go out there and have a good day and win a game every day so we can go to Utah.
Now, talk about you. When did Olivia start playing softball?
I started playing softball whenever I qualified for T-ball when I was 5 years old. And back home, we go from T-ball to slow or fast pitch, little girls, and then we go to JV or varsity. And by the time I was in 7th grade, I was on varsity and I was pitching.
So did you pitch all the way from when you first started? I mean, when you first picked up a ball, or were you like an outfielder that were just kind of told?
My little league as a young softball player, that's whenever I started pitching. So when I got into 7th grade, they were like, oh my gosh, you can pitch for varsity. And I was really nervous about that, but from my 7th grade to my senior year, I pitched.
And when you're not on the softball field, what do you like to do? What do you like to do for fun?
Well, I go back home and sometimes we help work cows, but mainly I just go home and hang out.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Well, we're back here at Titan Softball Complex, and now I'm with the other starting pitcher, Jordan Lawless. And Jordan, first of all, congratulations, another trip to the state tournament.
Yeah, thanks.
Talk about this season. How's it felt different making it to the state tournament this year as far as last year?
It definitely feels different because I feel like this year we definitely earned it. Last year, you know, we just happened to be not the worst team out there, which is good. But this year everyone worked together and tried hard to actually get there because people actually wanted it this year versus last year. So,
talk about your season. You've had a really good season on the mound, 2.99 ERA, under 3. So, talk about what have you done well this season?
I mean, this year I definitely trusted my defense a lot more. So that helped a lot, knowing that they can hit the ball and we're still going to make the outs. Where, you know, things were different for me this year than they were last year. I definitely worked more on my spins, trying to get it to where the hits weren't hard hit balls and there were the soft hits on the ground and in the air, so that way they can back me up.
And last month or so, you've really been on top of your game. Talk about, I mean, did it just feel good? I mean, what's been the difference here in the last month or so?
I definitely have more confidence up there, especially after beating like top teams like Central Florida, great team. Beating Indian River was great for me, especially after how I pitched with them last year. They were not good games for me, but this year was definitely a different story. So.
Now, talk about when did you start playing softball?
I started playing like legitimately 5 years old, T-ball. Didn't miss a season since T-ball. I wanted to play so bad because I had 2 older brothers that played, wanted to be just like my older brothers. But then they both stopped playing, and then my dad kind of like relied on me, like, oh, you're the athletic one, so I guess we're following you, and I just kept playing. So.
And have you always kind of pitched, or is that something that came a little later?
I actually started out catching, and then around 12 and under is when I started pitching because the pitchers on my team weren't doing it. So I was like, you know what, maybe I can do it. So that's when I started pitching.
And you've been pitching ever since?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. So.
Talk about what do you work on now between now and the state tournament May 3rd?
I definitely, well, me-wise, like I need to work on, of course, my spins. That's what I mainly do. Like in my bullpen, yeah, I do throw. Like I throw quite a bit, but most of my bullpen work is working on spins and locations and getting my spins tighter so that way when they do hit the ball, it's not good hits. Collectively, we need to work, especially on hitting, because errors are fine. We're going to make errors. They happen, but if we can produce the hits and runs for those errors, then we're going to be a solid team.
Now we see you in the bullpen before games. You're out there really early, and you're doing really a short toss, basically. Is that just working on the spins? Is that what you're doing?
That's exactly what it is. I like to get my spins done and as much spins as I can early. I also like to be prepared because just in case, we want to win both games. So if it comes to it and I have to come in the first game, I want to be ready, and Coach wants me to be ready too. So.
Now, talk about what kind of goals do you set now that we're into the state tournament? I mean, is the goal Utah? I mean, is that really the goal, or is there?
I mean, of course, it's an option, and I think we can do it. If we hit the way we've been hitting and we play defensively collectively, then we can definitely go to Utah if we play how we've been. It's a possibility, and I hope our team wants to take the short track, the 3 games to Utah, not the 6 games in Utah. So.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a difference there. Well, thank you, Jordan.
Thank you so much.
Great job for Mike Parsons doing those softball interviews. I tell you what, pitching has been a big part of the success for Jim Badia and the softball team for the Titans.
Yeah, it really has, and I look forward to seeing how they can fare in the state tournament now.
Well, again, as I said in the open when I saw you, kind of a bittersweet time. The last episode of Inside Titan Sports for this season's athletic calendar, and I tell you, it's been a great ride, Mike.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, almost every one of our teams is going to end up in the postseason again this season. It's going to be probably one of the best seasons we've ever had, at Eastern Florida, and so it's been a great year for sports, and I like the fact that we've gotten a chance to really document it.
Yeah, I tell you what, 9 of 11 teams are making postseason run, and I tell you what a great time to be a Titan.
Yeah, it really is, and it just shows that we're building and we're growing in the right directions, and next year we're hoping for 11 out of 11, but 9 out of 11 keeps me pretty busy.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike, you're a big part of this show. I couldn't do it without you. I appreciate your support all throughout the year.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for Inside Titan Sports. Thanks for your support all season long. Remember, anything and everything for Titans Athletics, visit us online at EFSCTitans.com. On behalf of my producer, Rob Landers, Sam Hensler, and Michael Parsons, I'm Eric Kohler. It's been a pleasure. Remember, Eastern Florida, where Titans rise.